Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How's everybody doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I have a little bit of a cold, I'm a little bit sick, so please bear with me, inshallah. We'll do, inshallah, our best to deliver a little bit, inshallah, of a reminder. And the purpose of this reminder, inshallah, is to leave with love and more love for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I'm going to request a few things. One, when you hear the name of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please send salawat. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. فإن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا وإمامنا وقائدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله بالغمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. My dear brother, my dear sister, I begin again with the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And the reason why I repeat the salam is because it's such a beautiful greeting. And you're sending peace and blessings on each other. And that increases the love and the understanding and the chemistry that's in the room. And inshallah, will allow us all, by engaging in that act, inshallah, to be able to retain better what is going to be shared, inshallah, today. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Usually in life we, fall in love with certain personalities, characters, individuals. There are people who we look up to, people who we admire, people who we respect. And subhanAllah, most of the time you admire these people from very far. But when you get to know these people on a personal basis, the respect decreases. Because you get to see the flaws and the issues, and the humanity of people shows when you magnify on their personalities in their personal life. Right? It's very easy to respect a TV star from just knowing them from far away. But when you get to know the individual on a personal level, you get to know the flaws. This person is addicted to this person has an issue with temper, anger management. So you get, the respect decreases. But when it comes to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you admire him from far. You love him from far. You respect him from far. But when you study his personal life and his seerah, and the way he was in the house, the way he was with children, the way he was with the neighbors, the way he was with the enemies, the way he was with every single individual he's met, it only increases you in more love and respect and admiration for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to begin by just a small beautiful story that we're usually not even focusing on. A beautiful story with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sitting down. On his right, there's a young boy. This boy is not more than 8 years of age, a very young child. And on the left is of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, two wise men with full beards, mashallah, very respected parts of the community, very strong members of the community. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is handed down to drink. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam drinks. And now the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in a bit of a difficult situation. He is trying to determine whether to pass the drink to the right, which is the sunnah, from right to left, or whether to give to the two wise men, because they are respect-worthy. They are people of respect, people of knowledge. And so the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam compromises the situation. Look at the way he deals with the situation to diffuse any tension. Look at the wisdom. Look at the love. Look at the quick and fast action. He turns to the young boy and look at the words he uses. A young boy. أَتَأْذَنُ لِي أَنْ أَسْقِيَ الشَّيْخَيْنِ. Do you give me permission? Imagine the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is asking for permission from a young boy. أَتَأْذَنُ لِي. Do you give me permission? أَنْ أَسْقِيَ الشَّيْخَيْنِ. To allow the two wise men, the two old men, the two noble men, to drink first. And the boy says, no, la. Imagine if this was your situation, this was your life. Imagine if two guests are in the house and you are in this situation and you have your little boy and you're asking him, man, do you give me permission to first of all, you don't even ask him for permission. And if he says no, go to your room or think about what you've done, or you're grounded for the next 5 years of your life. Right? But the Prophet Muhammad says, no, it is your right. And he allows him to drink. And then later on the drink is passed to the two wise men. Now what's really beautiful about this is later on, the boy is asked, why did you say no to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And he says, and look at the response of the child. He says, I love the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam so much that I wanted my lips to drink from the same spot where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's lips touched the cup, and I wanted to consolidate on the blessings of Rasulullah. These are the children. Not his son, not his daughter, just children that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam dealt with. I want you to imagine if your own daughter comes up to you, or your own son, and says, Daddy, Daddy, Mommy, Mommy, I love you so much that I want to drink from the same spot where your lips touch the cup. How would that make you feel? Right? Imagine if it was just your daughter, and these are the children around the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This was your Prophet. This was your messenger. This is Muhammad. And I want you to imagine another situation. Maybe it's just the children. Maybe you just love the children. No. Imagine when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after his wife Aisha is done drinking, what did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do? He used to pick the cup and tilt it and rotate it to find the exact same spot where Aisha drank from, and then he would drink from that exact same spot to show Aisha how much love he has for her. It was just pure love. Pure care and mercy and compassion for everybody he dealt with. Imagine the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, after coming back from battles, conquests, military campaigns. You know how difficult military campaigns are. I want you to imagine you just came back from war. You're fatigued, you're tired, you're bruised, you're injured. You're mentally not at the best state possible. You're compromised in many ways. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ comes back, and the children, all of them in Medina, they love him so much that they're all looking forward to him, to his return. And so they all line up and they want to play with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ coming back from the war, the fatigue, all that, he takes them one by one and he allows them to play with the camel or the horse or whatever he was riding, and he would allow them one by one to get on the camel and enjoy the time. This was the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Imagine if one of you just came home from work, 9-hour shift, 10-hour shift, let's say 12-hour shift. It's the worst job ever. It's not going to be as bad as war. And your child comes up to you, Daddy, Daddy, I want to play. Play? Are you serious? Smack him on the face or something, or Allah al-Musta'an. Hopefully you don't, but at least you're going to be like, go play a video game or something. Go play with your friends. No, that was not the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Look at the patience, the akhlaq, the rahmah, the mercy, the moral, the characteristics, the morality. And imagine the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, another beautiful situation. And there are many beautiful situations with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But imagine when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left from Mecca to Medina. He was forced to flee. He migrated very quickly. And in order to migrate safely, he did not announce it publicly that he's leaving. It was quick. We know about the hijrah, right? It was quick. He didn't tell anybody. But because it was quick, there was a lot of stuff that was left in the Prophet Muhammad's possession and entrusted within him. Because before he became a prophet, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the responsibility of delivering the message, he was known to be the most trustworthy and the most honest. As-Sadiq al-Amin. So people left a lot of things with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left Mecca, and all these things were in his house. So he told Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ali, I leave you with one thing, one responsibility. Give back everything that was entrusted into my house to the people who rightfully own it. And Ali ibn Abi Talib spent 3 days. Why do you think Ali got held back? He spent 3 days distributing the things that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ took as a trust. Imagine before the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was put to this obligation of delivering the message, people would come from every corner of the Arab Peninsula to trade. And many of them would buy more than what they could handle in terms of taking back. Imagine there's like a, buy two, get two free, or all these deals that would be happening. And so a lot of people would be buying a lot of stuff, and they wouldn't have enough area or enough space on the camels or whatever they were using to carry to bring it all back. So they would buy a lot. Then they would say, where can we leave it? And they all would come to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to say, before he was a messenger, "Oh Muhammad ibn Abdullah, can we leave the stuff in your trust?" And he would agree. And they would come back. We have narrations where they would come back much later on. Some narrations a year, some a few years. And people would come back a year, a few months. And people would come back and take their stuff in the same condition that it was left in the trust of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Not touched, as it is. This is the Messenger ﷺ. And imagine when the ayah came, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها. When this verse came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders you to return back what is entrusted to the rightful owners. This ayah came. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, right, ordered for the keys of the Kaaba, to be given back to the rightful owner. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to return back any trust. And the one thing that this ayah came for, if you look at the tafsir, is for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to return the key of the Kaaba to the rightful owner of the Kaaba. And a few narrations, the owner was not Muslim at the time. And when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ returned the key of the Kaaba, he made a dua for them. And he said a statement. And he said, anybody that takes away this key from this family is a zalim, is a person who commits injustice. And nobody ever dared to take the key from this family, to the point where even if you go now, the progeny of this family still has the trust of taking care of the key of the Kaaba. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with Islam because of the patience, the kindness, and the trust and the honesty of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imagine the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A lot of the people would say religion is just a way to generate profit. It's a way to rip off people and to basically, it's a materialistic thing. It's a way to just get people afraid of believing in this deity, and then they just all start paying money to basically get rid of the guilt. We hear this all the time. Some of the critics of religion in general, Islam. Let's look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when it came to the trust in maintaining what was entrusted within him or in his possession. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is an authentic hadith, he says, and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says beautifully, he says, when he used to come to the house, right, he used to, sometimes when he's lying on the bed, right, dates would fall out. Dates would fall out. And the dates would be on the bed. Tam, right? So the dates, the ones you eat, would fall on the bed. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would say, I pick them up and I'm about to eat them. But then I remember and I think, maybe this date is from the dates of charity. And I put it back, afraid of touching even one point or one little piece of the charity. Because remember the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, all the dates would be collected and they would be stored in the storage house. And sometimes, when you have a thobe or whatnot and you're working and you're moving around and you're putting sometimes the dates will fall into your pocket by accident. And then when you come home, the date, you're sleeping, you're moving around, and the date will fall on the bed. And so the Prophet Muhammad was not sure if this date is one that he bought with his own money, or if this date is from the sadaqah. So he would not even touch it. Imagine that. And confirmed by his wives, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imagine that. And that's not it. Imagine when Al-Hasan and another narration of Hussein, and forgive me if I got the names wrong, but it's either of the two of the grandchildren of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was playing in the storage house. And he picks up one of the dates. And he's about to put it in his mouth. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam rushes to him. And he taps him gently. And he says, "Kikhin, kikh. This is the food that belongs to charity. It is sadaqah. It is zakah. And we, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's family, do not touch zakah." Imagine how many times the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was in need. How many times he was in need. His family was in need. They were financially constrained. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide. We're not going to touch any of the charity or any of the zakah. Imagine till this day, if you are a descendant or if you are from Quraysh, till this day, you are not allowed to touch any of the zakah money. Do you know that? You are not allowed to touch any of the zakah money. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, imagine the hikmah and the wisdom to ensure that his intentions are sincere and the family's intentions are sincere. And that nobody will ever dare say, "Oh messenger, this man did it for money." None of his family members, not just his close family members, but his immediate, the entire tribe are not allowed to take anything from the charity. Imagine that. And unfortunately, the Muslims of our times, many of us have neglected the sunnah. Unfortunately, many of us, when it comes to launching masajid, launching projects, launching all these things, instead of the intention being focused solely on the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and instead of expecting the reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, many of the people are like, "Yes, brother, we need to make some money, so let's build the masjid." Unfortunately, this is a reality. "Brother, we need some money, let's just build this initiative, let's do this project." That was not the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The entire focus was on da'wah. And he was so careful and cautious to not ever be touched or affected by materialism or money or anything of that nature. And we know that. Read the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Look at the way he lived. Look at the Sahabas when they tell him, "Oh Messenger of Allah, you're lying down on this very, very, scratchy surface. It's affecting your back. It's leaving marks on your back. You are the Messenger of Allah, not just a leader, not just a ruler, not a king. You are sent by the King of Kings. Why don't you rest your back on something more befitting of the position that you hold in our hearts?" And what would he say? How would he respond? What was his response? How would he respond? Imagine the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. This was him. Look at the simplicity. Look now, just go online and look at the video of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's, reconstruction of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's living area. How he lived, the things he used, the tools that he had. He was simple, but clean. The first man to use a toothbrush, the siwak, the miswak. Simple, but pure. He would say, "Stay simple, but keep your clothes beautiful and pure. Stay simple, but always." Like when he saw some of the people that were not really, there was mud on their faces and whatnot, he would say, "Do you not have access to water to wash your face? Inna Allah jamilun yuhibbul jamal." Allah is beautiful and loves beauty. But there was that beautiful balance in the Prophet Muhammad's life, where you are expected, and it's recommended, and it's an obligation to look your best, but in the most humble way. To smell your best, but not to show off. To feel good and to be pleased with yourself. To be in the best state where you're actually able to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better. So that when you smile, and you're doing that sunnah, you're fulfilling that sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, you're smiling, and there's a beautiful, beautiful smile that shows some beautiful white teeth behind. Some beautiful white teeth. And not, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, not smiling and then there's like teeth falling off and like some dark, right? That is the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And imagine how difficult the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's life was. Imagine how difficult the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's life was. The things he's faced. The hardship. Imagine having a country to run, a community to lead. Hypocrites to deal with. People that are opposing you, fighting wars with you, and you have to defend yourself. Revelation that you have to memorize and remember. Trusts. This coming, oh, my wife did this, my brother did this, my son, what am I going to do? All the people coming to him complaining. All these things they had to deal with, yet by the Sahaba and the companions that were around him, they described him as the one who had the most natural, beautiful and balanced smile they have ever seen. It was serene. It was not forced. It was natural. The smile only represented an internal feeling of comfort, of rida, acceptance. He accepted the situation. And he was looking forward to meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And unfortunately, some of us go through difficult situations, right? Some of us go through difficult situations, and not really difficult, like exam sessions. You meet some people at the university during exam week, and la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Brother, what is the problem? And their eyes are like, they have, their eyes and their faces are very, it's like subhanAllah, it's like they're fighting 27,000 shells in or something. What happened, brother? Exam week, brother. Take it easy. Do your best, study, plan ahead, be balanced. And expect the best from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be thankful, be grateful. We're not saying the Prophet Muhammad had no emotions. Remember when the Prophet Muhammad lost his son Ibrahim, and he said beautiful words. Beautiful words. Right? He says the eyes tear up, and the heart is struggling with the pain. And we miss you. And we are sad to have you departed away from us, Ibrahim, my son. But we are not going to say anything except that which pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all he did was describe the feelings. I'm feeling sad. A tear is coming down my eye. I can't control it. But I'm happy with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen. That was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at the way he was. Look at the balance. Look at the balance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And imagine when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was described as the most generous of the generous. Imagine when people would come from every corner of the Arab Peninsula. And sometimes the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would borrow from others so that he would give. And sometimes after the battles or after situations where the Prophet Muhammad had to distribute, people would be rushing, and I want, and I want, and I want. And the Prophet Muhammad would give to the point where some of them would say, the Prophet Muhammad is giving as though he does not fear being poor. He does not fear poverty. He fears it not. And that was the simplicity of the Prophet Muhammad and the generosity. We have so many stories and a very long narration. Very, very long one, where the people came to the Prophet Muhammad and said, Ya Rasulullah, where we are from, there's no water, there's no food, and all of us are experiencing this difficulty. And the Prophet Muhammad said, what has touched you has touched us, but I'm not going to let you go back to your people empty-handed. And he borrowed from the people who was Jewish. He borrowed from him to pay for these people, to help them out. And then this man comes later on to test the patience of the Prophet Muhammad with Umar. It's a long narration, but I'm going to shorten it down. So Umar is with the Prophet Muhammad and this man comes and pulls the collar of the Prophet Muhammad pulls it back, pushes him back, pulls him back. This is the Prophet Muhammad Umar ibn Khattab gets very upset. How dare you do this to the Prophet Muhammad? It's in his heart. He gets very upset. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ keeps his cool, keeps his patience, keeps himself contained. Hikmah, hilm, wisdom, patience that is wise. Wise patience. And with the smile that we know of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he turns back. And this man is insulting the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, cursing the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, hurting the Prophet Muhammad's family. But he turns back and he turns to Umar first and says, "Ya Umar, it should be you that should be reminding me to be patient." And he turns to the man and he says, "And it should be you that should be approaching me in a more beautiful manner so that we can give you what you are asking for." And he came back requesting the money or the items that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ borrowed from him before the date of the due date, before he's supposed to give it. So he came back before he's supposed to give it. And he's doing this with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, he orders Umar ibn Khattab, he says, "Umar, go and give him. Go and give it to him." Umar is like, "Are you serious?" We know Umar. Like, "Are you serious? After he's doing all this to you, and it's not even the time he's doing, and you want me to give it to him? You should be telling me, and I should be just chopping his head in like a few pieces, man." The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, "No. Patience." And after all this man comes and he says, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." And then Umar is like, "Are you serious? What is this, man? What is this? First you're coming and you're insulting, and now you're taking the money, and now you say, what is the matter with you?" And the man responds and he says, "I read and I found the qualities of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ matching the qualities of the Prophet of this time. But there was one quality that I needed to ensure, to be sure about. And that was when you met him with anger, he only increased in patience. When you presented hate towards him, it did not affect him, it did not infuriate him. And I tested it with him today, and I noticed, and I found, and I'm sure, and I'm certain that he is the messenger of this time." Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he accepted Islam, and he gave up a large portion of his wealth for the sake of the Ummah. This is how people came to Islam. This is how people fell in love with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. There are people who would say, "Oh Messenger of Allah, we love your personality. We love who you are. We love your character. We don't know anything about Islam, but we know it's true because it comes from you." And they profess and they say, "I ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." And they say, "We want to learn it from you. We believe it's true because you are the representative of this deen." Imagine that. And then this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful example. And a beautiful lesson for all of us. If you want people to see the beauty of this deen, don't tell them. Don't describe. Show them through action. Show them by carrying yourself in the way that the deen is supposed to be carried. And they will fall in love with Islam. Because Islam is beautiful as it is. Unfortunately, we live in a time where it has been corrupted and the image has been corrupted in the public sphere by a few. You know, we know what's out there about Muslims and Islam in general. But instead of retaliating and saying they did this and they did, no, do the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, implement the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Be patient. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم وإما ينزغنك من الشيطان نزغ فاستعذ بالله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to us beautifully. He says at the end of the ayah, right? last ayah we recited, and one shaitan touches you, or you are touched by even a bit of the shaitan's abilities, seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And before those ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, respond to the evil that you are encountering with what is better, with what is more beautiful, with what is more just. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, you will see that the one between you and whom there is strong enmity, there is strong hate, shall become a close friend. The seerah of the Prophet Muhammad is full of this. Umar ibn Khattab, I'm going to kill Muhammad. I'm going to go kill him. And he comes smashing the door down, hitting his sister to the point where he hurts her ears. He hits her so hard. Imagine someone who beats his wife. Someone who beats his wife, he did. And someone who beat his sister. Who would get drunk and who hated the Prophet before he met him. As soon as he hears, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات. Imagine that till the end, and he hears that and reads it, and his eyes begin to tear up because he recognizes the beauty of these words, and he's touched by the beauty of these words, and he comes to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, entering not with the intention of killing, but with the intention of accepting Islam. This was the situation of many of the people around the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Study the seerah. Read up about the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Look at the way he was. Look at the way he dealt with times of crisis. Look at the way he dealt with times of pain. Look at who he turned to for comfort. And I want to leave you with two beautiful reminders that I really am touched in these few days from the seerah. Two beautiful reminders. One, and listen to this carefully. We've talked about the Prophet Muhammad we now have a beautiful, like a little beautiful idea of who the Prophet Muhammad was. But let's look at the beginning and stay with me for this. It's really beautiful. Remember when the Prophet Muhammad lost his father, he became an orphan. And his mother wanted him to be raised in a place where he's going to get that strength and get that courage and get the eloquence. So she had the intention of sending him to one of the places on the outskirts, so he would be living with the nomads or living with the people of the Bedouins of the time, so he'd pick up that strength and the eloquence. And there was Halima Sa'diyah, and she was really weak, really poor, very poor family, and she was looking for any way to make money. So she said, you know what? Let's go. And she was talking to her husband. She said, let's go to Mecca, pick up one of the children of Mecca, and bring him to nurse him, and to basically babysit him for a while to make some money. But because she had no food, she got on the donkey, and the donkey was very weak. And the donkey was the slowest. So by the time she made it there, all the babies had already gone. All the babies were already gone. And nobody wanted to touch the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ because he had no father. He was an orphan. Nobody wanted to take the baby because he had no father. And you don't want to deal with an orphan. Who's going to pay? The stigma that's attached. For subhanallah, look at how she was constricted, and her choices were constricted to the point where she was left with no choice but to take the baby that is soon to become the Prophet. And subhanallah, what better choice? And many times in our lives, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constricts our choices so that we have no choice but to choose the choice that we would have otherwise never even thought about choosing, because we thought we were too good for that choice. But it turns out to be the choice that we end up choosing because of that constriction is the best for us. the best choice for us. Allah chooses for you, and Allah chose for Muhammad. And Allah chose for Halima. Imagine the blessings that Halima had when she picked up the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Imagine when she's on the way back from infancy. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's blessings are there. On the way back, the donkey that they're using to go and travel on is so quick, so fast, that she beats everybody else who left way before her. And they're all looking, oh, what's going on? Is this the same donkey you came with? He was the last one here. How is he going so fast? Who knows? And subhanAllah, you read some of the commentary of the Orientalists, and some of the people that look at the Islamic seerah, and they look at it with this arrogance, and they say, you know what? It is nature's way to recompensate or compensate Halima for the bad baby that she got by making the donkey go faster. Look at the way. So they're saying the baby is bad, so to compensate that, nature gave them, a faster donkey. Imagine the arrogance, the hate. This will happen, and this will continue to happen. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إِنَّا كَفَيْنَاكَ الْمُسْتَهْزِئِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already says it. Allah is enough of a protector against those who are mocking, those who are trying to ridicule the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those who are always going to oppose Islam and oppose this beautiful way of life. For whatever reasons they have and for whatever motivations they have, it is always going to be the case. But it's up to us. And we do more damage to our reputation than anybody else externally can. Because you know what hurts the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ the most? You know what hurts the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ the most? It's when a Muslim named Muhammad, a Muslim who has the name of the grandson of the Prophet, Hassan or Hussein, or a Muslim who has the grandfather's name, Ibrahim, or a Muslim whose name is Khadija or Fatima or Aisha, claims to be Muslim, claims to love Allah and love Rasulullah, but then in the way she carries herself, or in the way he carries himself, he contradicts every sunnah possible and gives everybody that he or she meets an image of Rasulullah and an image of Islam that makes that person hate the faith and hate the Prophet. That's what hurts the Prophet Muhammad the most. And that's what hurts Islam's image the most. It's the Muslims who claim to be Muslims, but in their actions they contradict every teaching of Islam possible, giving the worst image possible to every person they possibly meet. So that's the question that I want to ask you with, and I want to leave you with. What kind of Muslim do you want to be? And what kind of follower of Muhammad ﷺ do you want to be? One who just verbally professes it, or one whose actions truly fulfill and match and are in parallel with what is being said and with what is being felt? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your heart, your tongue, your mind, your intellect, and the entire being as a whole fully submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fully internalize the love for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Do you know what made the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam cry? You know what made the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam cry? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stood in qiyam like he usually stood. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to stand. The second surah, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, قُمِ اللَّيْلَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا نِصْفَهُ أَوْ انقُصْ مِنْهُ قَلِيلًا أَوْ زِدْ عَلَيْهِ وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Continue. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, إِنَّ لَكَ فِي النَّهَارِ سَبْحًا إِنَّ لَكَ فِي النَّهَارِ سَبْحًا طَوِيلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, O Messenger of Allah, you are going to be swimming with responsibility in the day. So stand in the night, a portion of it, a third, a half, or a little bit less, or more. Try to stand some time in the night alone by yourself, in the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are going to be swimming with responsibility. Wait, I'm going to have all these responsibilities in the day, and Ya Allah, you want me to stand in the night? Yes, because standing in the night will allow you to reach that utmost level of sincerity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have that one-on-one time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that allows you to tackle the responsibilities of the day, and it allows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stand with you in the night, in the day, to be with you and by your side. And so the Prophet Muhammad was standing in the night in Qiyam, and he was reciting just one ayah. One ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن تعذبهم فإنهم عبادك وإن تغفر لهم فإنك أنت العزيز الحكيم. Imagine that. And he was standing reciting this ayah, tears coming down his eyes, crying for his ummah, crying for you and me. Ya Allah, if you punish them, what can I say? They are your servants, you created them. But if you forgive them, you are the most majestic, the most wise, the one who is deserving of true grace and gratitude. And he would repeat this ayah over and 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 again, the whole night, with tears coming down his eyes. And there's a beautiful, and I'm going to finish off with this inshallah. There's a beautiful, 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 we have time? Okay. So there's a beautiful, beautiful, really, really beautiful verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ويوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا. And there will come a day when the person who committed injustice against himself or herself by preventing him or herself from following, from experiencing the beauty of faith, from experiencing the beauty of being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will bite and clench their fists, biting their hands in regret. In regret. I want you to imagine, for the young audience here, how many of you guys remember watching a football match or a soccer match or a cricket match or whatever sports match, and this sports athlete misses the chance to score or to get a few points, and this person gets down on the ground, falls down on the ground, holding their fist, clenching, they missed an opportunity. And all this responsibility, and now they're thinking about the teammates and how they've let down the team and whatnot. Imagine on the day of judgment when somebody realizes they've missed on the opportunity to enter Jannah and to live and experience the eternal love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to meet the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to listen to the Quran being recited from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's words. Imagine how shameful they become, to the point where they begin to clench their fists and bite their hands. This is the Quran, it's not me saying this, this is the Quran, regretfully, and they will say, oh Allah, oh how I wish I took a path with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya laytani ittakhadhtu ma'a rasuli sabila. I wish I took a path, a road, a way. I wish I followed the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya waylata laytani lam attakhidh fulanan khalila. Oh, I wish I did not take this friend. I wish I did not befriend this person. I wish I did not get close to this individual. لقد أضلني عن الذكر بعد إذ جاءني. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِلْإِنسَانِ خَذُولًا. He distracted me, or she distracted me from the knowledge and the revelation and the reminder after it has come. And indeed, shaitan is always in a state where he lets down the human. Shaitan is going to let you down. Shaitan is always going to let you down. And then there's the beautiful verse which finishes it all. And listen to this carefully. وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَا لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ عَدُوًّا مِنَ الْمُجْرِمِينَ وَكَفَى بِرَبِّكَ هَادِيًا وَنَصِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that on that day, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ, and the messenger will say, Ya Rabb, my Lord, inna qawmi, my people, اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. They have neglected the Qur'an. They have migrated away from the Qur'an. They have replaced the comfort that they used to, or they're supposed to get from the Qur'an, with other alternative forms of comfort. When music is on, they're all happy, and then when the Qur'an comes, oh, this is so sad. I don't want to listen to it. When you're sad, when you're in a difficult situation, when you need comfort, what do? What do you listen to? What do you read? Do you turn to the Qur'an? And why does the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ give you this? Why does he say this? Why does he regretfully say this? Imagine after the hard work, after fighting and defending and all the difficulty that he went through, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, imagine how many parts of his body were injured in battles. How many parts of his heart were affected and touched by the wounds, the words that they used to say against him. How hard he worked to preserve the Qur'an and to share the knowledge with as many people as possible. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives it to you beautifully, because He says, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who revealed this reminder, and Allah will protect it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to you protected, contained, beautifully as it is from the word from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Qur'an. And you choose to abandon it, or you choose to only open it or look at it once every year, twice every year, 3 times every year if there's more funerals than usual. This is the saddest reality ever. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the nur, the huda, the shifa, the rahmah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the light, the healing, the guidance, and the mercy in this Qur'an. فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. And it is because of this, and it is only for this, that they should be truly happy, because it is better than anything else they accumulate. It is better than anything else they collect. It is better than anything else they hoard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to you, and the Prophet Muhammad struggled a lot. Imagine the symptoms that he would experience when the revelation was coming. The headaches, the shaking. Imagine that. And imagine when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comforts him again. And I'm going to leave you off inshallah with this, because we are getting close to the time. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testifies by the forenoon after the sunrise, and He testifies by the night as it fades, by the day as it fades coming close to the night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Messenger of Allah, Allah, your Lord, has not abandoned you, and nor is He displeased with you. And the hereafter will be better for you from this one that you're experiencing now, from this lowly life that you're experiencing. And Allah will give you, and you will be pleased. Allah will give you, and you will be pleased. Allah will give you, and you will be pleased. Did He not find you an orphan and comforted you? Found refuge for you, provided refuge for you. And did He not find you lost and wandering and guided you? And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him two beautiful advice and gives us two beautiful advice. As for the orphan, never turn away or never ridicule through harsh word. And as for the one coming asking or requesting something from you, never turn him or her away. I want you to imagine the comfort that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives and the promise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told him, you will get, Allah will give you and you will be pleased. And what better position than every time we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, we say, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Every adhan, every iqamah. What is better than the most popular name in the world being Muhammad? I want you to imagine someone coming up to you and saying, brother, sister, I respect your personality so much. Brother, I love your attitude so much that I have fallen in love with your personality and I want to name my kid after you so that he can become like you. How many parents worldwide fell in love with the attitude and the personality and the character and the manner of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to the point where they named their kids after him, hoping that maybe they will get even a portion of his manners, of his character, of his generosity, of his humility, of his strength, of his bravery, of his patience, of his wisdom, of his love, of his mercy, of his persistence, hard work. Just a portion. That is your messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I leave you with two advice. Read the Quran as often as you can and try to understand and reflect upon its meanings, and send salawat on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as often as you can. And read the hadith and many of the great sayings of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and many of the people later on, the greatest scholars, and they tell you the benefit of sending salawat regularly on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The key to a dua being accepted, after of course being pure and all that, the key to a dua being accepted is beginning with alhamdulillah, and finishing with salah on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So whenever you're making dua, begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what you already have, and finish by sending your salawat on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who it was through him that you have this guidance, nur and huda. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. Anything that was spoken well is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any flaws, faults are from me and from the shaitan. Forgive me. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.